Welcome to Shay's Insights video. Last week, our video was on what is an energetic virus. And I wanted to continue this week with some more examples. So as I mentioned in the first video last week, that whenever the top god is a goddess, her body is the world. Now this is true of men too, but to a lesser extent. And archetypally speaking, I know that's a kind of a big word, the Carl Jung stuff, from our high self's point of view, our body is the universe in which we live. Now in these accelerated and elevated energetic times with the higher frequencies coming in, as the planet raises its frequency and our bodies raise their frequency, and if that of course of our soul group raises the frequency, I have noticed that our bodies are now treating the low frequency energies of our old discordant beliefs, energetic attachments, which we collectively call emotional baggage, like they would a bacteria or a virus. And we're seeing other symptoms as well. Now with that in mind, it's always important that if we are having symptoms that we seek medical attention. But once we've done so, and if the medical people say, if there's nothing wrong with you, take 2 aspirin and see us in the morning, then we know it has to be something else. And oftentimes it's this energetic baggage of our emotional baggage as it's being released. As a quick recap, emotional baggage is usually released 2 ways, if we actually are releasing it and not holding on to it. The first way is it just falls away, in which it's fine. The other way is that part of our low self, our child self, or our subconscious belief holds on to a piece of that discordant belief, discordant energetic attachment, again, emotional baggage, as it's being released. And it gets processed through our energy field. And those low frequency energies of our emotional baggage then get treated like a bacteria or a virus by our body. And there's a number of symptoms. And I want to start with me as the first example. Last summer, I think it was a July time frame, I may have mentioned this in one of my other writings or possibly other videos, my heart rate went up to about 115 to 125 for a 3-day period. It never went down. And I was concerned. Now I know my medical condition and I was comfortable with not seeing medical advice. But then the more I thought about it, I said, let me check with my guidance. So my guide, I went and talked to him, my medical guide, and he said, well, you can go see the doctor and they'll prescribe you a medication that you do not need, or you can wait 3 days and this is going to go away. So I said, well, I'm going to take him. He's been pretty accurate to this point. So sure enough, 3 days later, it all went away. Now another one example is Deborah. Now she's had some elbow and wrist pains, which are just part of the normal living of life. But in the last, I don't know the time frame, maybe the last couple of weeks, maybe a month, it's really intensified, and it really went up, I guess 3 weeks ago when I did an energetic session. During that session, a number of things were cleared and a whole bunch of emotional baggage started coming up. And this emotional baggage for Deborah was associated with being in, let's just say, in negative situations in her life where she was treated in a subordinate manner that was very humiliating. And she ended up doing tasks doing that. And I saw her during that session with 2 or 3 other women. They were in dresses. She could have been in the United States, possibly England. It's hard to say. It really doesn't matter. But I'm seeing them with the washboards and they're scrubbing, and it's hard work. And they have a big pile of clothes there. And this has happened lifetime after lifetime, where she's been put in these situations where she is not treated with the respect that she's due and put into positions of doing things while she's being treated this way. And of course that all gets encoded into emotional baggage, energetic attachments, and belief systems. And she's been trying to let go of them for a long time, and in this lifetime now she's been letting them go. And with this accelerated and elevated energetic period we're in right now, they're really letting go. So when that session happened, I actually saw a whole bunch coming up, and she had instant pain in her elbows. And she was thinking, well, maybe it's medical too. And then this last weekend, we were doing a combined energetic and sound shower session, or rather, which we are calling spiritual quickening sessions. Anyway, during that, while she was working on the individual, she saw the individual's arms getting worked on, which was happening because I saw the same thing on my portion of that session. But also, Deborah's arms were being worked on from her higher guidance, because when we're acting in a manner of being a conduit for the divine in service of others to help them, our higher guidance works on us. So anyway, all of a sudden, that evening, she had told me that during the session, she saw that the arms being worked on, and I looked at her and I said, well, it looks like everything's gotten better for you. And she says, yeah, I think maybe the arms that were being worked on were mine as well, which seems to be the case. Now, she still has some pain, but it went down from here down several notches, and that's just because a whole bunch of energetic attachments were released and cleared and turned into the light, transmuted during that session with the other person. So it's a wonderful thing. When we give to others, again, we receive as well. But there's other symptoms that also happen. And again, if you have these, you want to first eliminate any medical cause. But once that's been done, you want to look probably at the energetic. And some things that can happen are muscle pain, especially if we've been where we've had events in past lives where we were injured or otherwise heavily stressed over a period of lifetime, or possibly injured for a long term. Those things, as they're being released, can come back, and it'll show up in the muscles or areas often that it happened originally. Headaches, upset stomach or nausea, backache. I want to talk about that real quick. Now, we all know about chakras and the Kundalini. We have in the back of our spine, the energy comes down and goes to the base of our spine, and on the left and the right is the male and female energies where they split, and it goes like this. And wherever they cross, they create vortices that create the chakras in the front. Now, most of us know this, but what I've seen repeatedly with people is that as past life stuff is being processed through a person's energy field, it seems to attach in the back. At least that's where I see it. I'm not sure if it's symbolically or in some way energetically it connects to the back, and I'm pretty certain that's how it does for most people. And of course, as it gets connected to the back, it gets processed out to the front, so we think it's happening here, but the reality is it's attached back here. So with that in mind, you can read one of the posts that we have on the Insights articles about acichords, and those who have taken our seminars can use the acichords and cut them and send them to light. But you can just use a flaming sword, even if you just see it, if you can sense it, cut them, intend it, and it will happen. You can cut that away, and you may find that whatever that pain is notched down a bit, or possibly go away completely. Foot arch pain is another one. Foot arch pain, obviously, if we had a heavy burden in this life or a previous one, it can cause us to have the pain as in our feet physically as it's being released. Neck pain, hand wrist pain, eye aches, that's especially true of people who have witnessed traumatic events in the past where it really affected them emotionally and otherwise. And of course, it can affect the heart, as it did with mine. As my heart, as it was rapidly beating, that had to do with a life in the 1000s, and it was a really intense life, and I'm certain whatever that event was pretty traumatic and dramatic at the time, based on my elevated heart rate as it was being released. So I just want to talk about that. And now, what can you do? Well, we've out on ShaySholistics.com, and then Shay Holistics YouTube channel. We have some videos, and I'm referring to them down here. In the how-to section, Deborah has what's called a grounding chakra exercise. It's really more than that. We do this at the end of every meditation for those who listen to them or attend them. We put a bubble of white light around us that keeps us, the light of protection, that keeps anything of a discordant nature from coming in, so we don't have anybody else's stuff come our way. It grounds us to Mother Earth so that we are grounded in what we do, and of course, as stuff comes up, Mother Earth can suck it down into the earth and have it transmuted into light And of course, it connects us to our higher guidance. And I mean by higher guidance is our high self, our guides, the angels, archangels, the etheric realm, and of course the divine, which is our shorthand for any aspect of God that we connect with, whatever it is for you. And then there's the monthly meditations. And a good one I saw out there was clearing family ancestral energies. Some people are really tightly tied to the energies of their ancestral energies. And this, of course, this has to do with with our DNA. And we've talked about how our DNA can go to 12 strand and it can get evolved, I'm going to call it that. But it's also evolved energetically. And the energies associated with our ancestral energies are part of our baggage that we're tied to as part of the collective. So this video, it's not really a video, it's the monthly meditation with a nice picture that shows up on your screen. But anyway, it will guide you through releasing those ancestral energies that are no longer part of your life. Then we have another monthly meditation that's untangling the energetic threads of our life. Just in the normal course of living life here on earth, our energy can get tangled. And what this meditation does is it untangles them, lets anything that is no longer part of what we need to be doing fall away, along with the energetic and emotional baggage. And of course, as that happens, most of it will fall away. If it gets processed through our energy fields, you can do the exercise we talked about, the grounding chakra exercise, to help eliminate it, to accelerate its exit into the light. And of course, Deborah has sound showers out there. I recommend the crystal harp, connecting with source sound shower. It seems to have a powerful effect on many people. So those are some of the things you can do, along with what I mentioned in the last video, which I'm not going to rehash. Again, anytime we do any of the things where we have physical symptoms, it's good to check our medical advice, but once that's been eliminated, it's almost certain energetic, emotional baggage. And so, as we mentioned in the last video, Deborah and I have a wonderful announcement. Starting this month, on March 19th, which is a Saturday, at 10 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Mountain, we are going to be doing our Awakening Divine Connections radio show. It's a 1-hour program. If you live elsewhere other than the Pacific or Mountain time zones, you'll have to look and see when that is for you. And it's going to be every third Saturday of the month. Now, during the first show, Nicole, the Radio Broadcasting Network's founder, is going to be doing an interview. Now, we know what some of the questions are, but she's certainly made it clear that she's going to ask us questions that we're probably not ready for. So you'll want to listen in. And then in subsequent shows, we are planning to have people calling in, guests, our audience. You can call in. You can share things that have happened to you, ask a question, or both. And just we'll talk about what you want to talk about, anything spiritual. We'll be doing presentations on a variety of spiritual subjects and topics. We've got some queued up that we have in mind, but there's going to be obviously more. And of course, we're going to look for ideas from you, our audience. If we get 5, 10, 20 emails where everyone says we want to have you talk about a particular subject, or please bring in someone who's an expert on a particular area, we'll look at doing that. And then, to the degree that it's possible, we're going to try to do live music. If the audio quality isn't what we want, in live music I mean Deborah's crystal harp, her hand pans, her flutes, the crystal pyramid, the rain stick, and all of her other things that she has, and plus I'm probably going to get some more in the near future. We're going to try streaming those live. If it doesn't work out well, we'll pre-record them and then give them to Nicole to play at the appropriate time. And as I mentioned, we're really going to look forward to identifying different groups, spiritual groups, and spiritual people. We've already got a couple lined up, but we're going to try to get some ideas for that. And again, we're going to look to you for any ideas that you might have for the people that you want to hear from. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for listening. Blessings, light, and love. And until next time, namaste.